Sarah is cursed. Well, at least she strongly believes that she is. Sarah's curse didn't start in some mystical Egyptian tomb or some Mayan temple. It started at a children's party. And as usual, it all started with Lucy, her sister. All she had to do was smile, and beautiful Lucy could get anything. It was a beautiful sunny day. Their parents have arranged a Little Mermaid-themed party for Lucy's birthday. Sarah watches from afar as Lucy is hoarded towards the table to cut her cake. She wants so desperately to get what genetics had simply denied her. So, she comes up with a cunning and slightly evil plan. As Lucy bends forward to blow out the candle and make her wish, Sarah beats her to it by blowing it herself and stealing Lucy's wish. Lucy is livid. She loves her sister dearly, but at the tender age of 5, she can't understand why Sarah would do something like that. So, she retaliates as any child would, by making a counter-wish. She tells Sarah that stealing Lucy's wish was fine, because she is now going to steal all of her wishes, forever. And since that fateful day, everything changed. Everything. As years pass, Lucy grows up into her effortlessly beautiful self. Sarah, on the other hand, begins to grow more and more miserable. So much so, that she begs her parents to enroll her and Lucy in separate schools. Once that is done, Sarah thinks her suffering has come to an end. Goodbye, Lucy. Goodbye, bad karma. At her new school, she finally connects with someone. Aaron. He was everything that Sarah has ever wanted in a significant other. They share similar interests and have a blast hanging out together. Sarah even goes the next step and clears her locker for Aaron to share the space with her. When she presents Aaron with the key, thinking that Lucy's curse was finally over and true love was knocking at her door, he thanks her with a warm hug and tells her that she is his best friend. Sarah's bad luck isn't going away. Soon after Aaron starts his music band at high school, his family moves to Monterey, and Sarah never sees him again. Aaron, her first great love. He has become quite the music sensation 20 years later. His first hit has broken all sales records. He's now super famous and travels around the world, all the time. Lucy has also become super famous. Her beauty has conquered all the catwalks, and she's now the favorite model of many high-end brands. And Sarah? Well, Sarah is in Merida, living and working from her grandmother's house, a section of which she has turned into a somewhat quaint clothing store that makes about $700 a month, which is enough to buy more t-shirt stock and print more posters. It's not something spectacular, but it's enough of an excuse for her to get out of bed, since she's long given up on her fantasy of launching her clothing brand. A fact that Sackney, her employee/friend, never fails to remind her. To Sarah, it's all about purging her karma. She believes that by living a small, peaceful life in her grandma's house, which is in desperate need of repairs, she has successfully expelled her bad luck. One night, though, it comes knocking at her door again. Sarah is awoken from her sleep by her cell phone's urgent ringing, accompanied by the banging on her front door. It's Lucy, her sister, her sweet, perfect sister, Lucy, always interrupting her peace. Lucy is here to visit her and their parents after finishing her late modeling project somewhere near the Himalayan mountains. She has even brought a special trinket for Sarah, a Himalayan aquamarine, for good luck. Lucy is excited to catch up. She starts quizzing Sarah about what she has been up to. How has her love life has been with Gilberto? How has the boutique been doing? Their little confrontation is interrupted by more vehement knocking at her door. Lucy goes to answer it and tells Sarah that she had invited their mama and papa to come visit them. Sarah is left astounded. The first thing that their dad notices, the minute he steps into the living room, is how dilapidated his mother's house looks. Sarah had told him she will be remodeling it. Sarah's eyes rake the place with newfound critique. He was right. Everything was in desperate need of renovation. But she hasn't been able to spare any time to even think about it. Her store could barely turn over enough for her to make ends meet. She decides the best possible course was to deflect attention. So, she inquires her mom about news of her and dad splitting up. But Lucy beats her to the punch. She was getting married. Her little sister was engaged to be married. Their mother's immediate query is whether Lucia is pregnant. Is her fiancé a man or a woman? Lucy indignantly assures her that she wasn't pregnant, she was merely in love. And her fiancé is, in fact, a man. She quickly jumps on Sarah's train though, and asks their mother not to change the subject, about her and their father's separation. Mama throws her hands up in the air. She admits to them that she wants her papa to not get divorced, but have an open marriage instead. She also admits to having been virtually dating some guy. Papa jumps in, saying that the guy is supposedly there in Merida, and that their mama is planning on meeting him. Mama tries to deflect again. She tells Lucy that she ought to have mulled over the possibility of Sarah getting married first. She is the oldest of the two, after all. By this point, Sarah has had enough. She breaks into the crossfire and proposes to show all of them to their respective rooms. They can talk about all of this tomorrow. That night, Sarah gets her own virtual date, a video call from her long-distance boyfriend Roberto. The connection is poor as always, as Sarah lays there in the makeshift bed in her design room. Roberto tells Sarah to pass his best wishes to Lucy about her happy news. The next morning, Sarah wakes up exhausted from her uncomfortable attempt at sleeping in the makeshift bed. She could hear Lucy asking their papa to hurry because someone is going to be there soon. Sarah walks into the kitchen to get her cup of coffee before she could face the madness again. A familiar voice greets her from behind and introduces himself as Lucy's fiancé. When she turns around, face stuffed with toast and coffee, she's startled to find Aaron, in person after all those years, standing before her in her disheveled kitchen. Sarah cannot breathe. Aaron recognizes her instantly. Overjoyed with this twist of fate going in his favor, Aaron follows Sarah around the dining room table as she wheezes to catch her choking breath. This can't be happening. Fate cannot be that cruel. Aaron cannot be Lucy's fiancé. Lucy hurries into the dining room just then. Exhilarated to have her fiancé there, Lucy introduces Sarah to Aaron and expresses her desire for the two of them to be the best of friends. Aaron divulges that they had already been best friends back when they were in high school. This only adds to Lucy's elation. Sarah's nerves are racing off the charts as she tries to leave the room. She walks right into those loosely hinged glass screen doors. Glass shatters all over the floor. That's what she gets for not keeping up with Grandma's home. Thankfully, she wasn't hurt. Not physically, at least. Sarah calls Sackney. It is an SOS call. She walks into the store section of the house and asks Sackney how fast she thinks they can set up a clearance sale. Sarah thinks that she might have to leave town soon due to the sudden shift in consequences. Aaron finds her there, having a minor panic attack and crouching on the floor, talking to Sackney. He is amazed at how Sarah had turned her grandma's house into a fully functioning business. As he looks through the plethora of white statement t-shirts on display, Sarah gathers herself up and asks him about his career, even though she already knew everything about him and his achievements. Aaron bashfully tells her that he's a solo artist and singer now. His manner is very self-deprecating as he continues to admire Sarah's display. Customers start gathering outside the storefront, and Aaron urges her to get on with opening her place for the day. Sackney takes Sarah out for drinks at their usual spot. An advertisement for that year's Fashion Fest is running on the screen, and Sarah's eyes keep going back to it. Sackney, being her candid self, asks Sarah if they're going to it, since it's happening in Merida this year. Sarah has long given up on fashion. Sackney argues that Sarah has never really tried. But Sarah knows better than to put herself in such a delicate position where her luck will be tempted. It does not matter what Sackney believes. For Sarah, every wish had been a domino effect of one devastating news after another, ever since Lucy's fateful birthday party. Sarah does not want to have a drink. She loses control every time she drinks, and today was not a day where she could afford losing control. Lucy has made reservations at a nice restaurant for the whole family to celebrate her engagement. She chose an intimate dinner spot. Lucy is going on Instagram Live. She is thrilled to introduce her family to her InstaFam and announce her engagement to the musical sensation, Aaron Starr. Her news travels faster than anticipated, and ecstatic fans clamor around their dinner table, all eager to get a glimpse of their favorite model, whose presence they were fortunate to be in. Sarah manages to get Aaron out of the chaos. As they leave the restaurant in a daze, laughing hysterically, Sarah tells Aaron that whoever chose his name, Starr, did a seriously bad job. She liked Punk Flamingo, his band name in high school, better. The next day, Sarah sits in silent torture as she watches Lucy try dress after dress at a chic boutique. She can't find anything catchy enough to buy. Abruptly, Lucy turns around, dropping the dress she was trying to the side. She asks Sarah how she made Aaron laugh like she did that day at the restaurant. Sarah is taken aback. Why would Lucy ask Sarah something like that about her fiancé? Isn't that one of the few things one ought to know about the person that they are about to get married to? Lucy sheepishly admits that although she's been in a relationship with him for months, she has only just met Aaron less than a month ago. Sarah is left flabbergasted. When Sarah breaks this news to Sackney the next day, she strongly advises her to take action, if not for herself, then for the sake of her sister. But Sarah could never do that. She would never willfully jeopardize Lucy's happiness. That would be a display of disloyalty and jealousy. And Sarah was not envious. Besides, she has a boyfriend, Roberto. She hasn't seen Roberto for some months now, and this virtual thing was starting to feel very fake. But that did not give her any reason to go about sabotaging her sister's relationship. Later that evening, Lucy makes a shrimp dip, specifically for her fiancé. But Aaron is allergic to shrimp, and Sarah saves him in the nick of time. As she stops Lucy's outstretched hand, Aaron shows Lucy the shrimp tattoo that he has on his right arm to commemorate his allergy. Their mother, who sits across from them, sees another familiar tattoo. It was a drawing she'd watched Sarah draw countless times when she was little. Aaron and Sarah used to hang out all the time, rolling around in long chunks of fabric, with paint all over them. Lucy is intrigued by her mother's account and asks Aaron and Sarah to elaborate on that memory. At Lucy's insistence, Sarah digs around in her storage to unearth those infamous pieces of fabric. They were printed with the help of a technique called cyanotype. Cyanotype, Sarah explains, is a slow-reacting, photographic printing formulation sensitive to UV irradiation. It produces a cyan blueprint used for art. The process usually involves two chemicals: ferric ammonium citrate, or ferric ammonium oxalate, and potassium ferricyanide, and water. Aaron is amazed that Sarah has kept that fabric safe since high school, and Lucy is amazed at how smart her sister is. It strikes her with an idea of her own. Somehow, Lucy convinces Sarah to come along with her to visit Arturo Calavita, the mega-famous fashion designer. Lucy was his darling friend, of course. When they get to where Calavitas is staying, he greets Lucy by peppering kisses on both her cheeks. As Lucy casually reclines on the chairs by the pool, she asks Arturo if he has a collection for the Fashion Fest ready. Arturo did have a collection ready until he visited Marina Abramovich. She made him doubt himself and stole his inspiration. So, Lucy tells him to brace himself, because she is about to introduce him to the person that will save his life. With a flourish, Lucy pulls out the cyanotype from the bag. Arthur gasps, his fingers flying forward of their own accord, reaching to take a hold of what is surely a masterpiece. Lucy explains that the design is called cyanotype printing. They develop in sunlight and are made by the genius who is also designing her wedding dress. Her one and only sister, Sarah. Sarah's head is reeling now. Never had she wanted to be put on display in such a manner. Not to mention, her work being appreciated by someone like Arturo Calavita. No, she cannot allow this to happen. Arturo was amazed. His designer mind is already buzzing. He tells Lucy that the design is exquisite, but they need fine fabric. The one currently on display is a piece of rag, in his opinion. Lucy admonishes him to be kind with his words, because her sister is the best designer out there. She then goes on and on about how big the wedding is going to be, and how everybody in the industry is going crazy about the designer that will be designing her dress. Arturo is lucky to have a star like Sarah on the runway for him. As Lucy and Arturo get into a playful banter about who really needs who, Sarah finds the opportunity to back off. She needs to nip this in the bud before her bad luck gets even a whiff of it. She rips the fabric off of Arturo's arms and runs off. Arturo finds her attitude rather fiery. He agrees with Lucy's opinion now. He needs Sarah on his runway for Fashion Fest. In another part of Merida City, a nostalgic Aaron records the song he had written back in high school. His muse for that song had been Sarah. Later that night, Aaron runs into Sarah at a bar. She has been hiding there after running away from Lucy and Calavita. He finds her nursing a double margarita and talking her heart out to the bartender there. He orders 2 drinks, one for himself and another for Sarah. As Sarah's eyes fall upon Aaron, he notices her demeanor become on edge instantly. She asks him what he was doing there. Aaron asks instead why she has been avoiding him. Ever since he has come to this city, she hasn't talked to him like she used to. For Sarah, nothing is like it used to be. Like she had feared, 1 drink turns to 5. Before she knows it, she is convincing Aaron about how good an idea it is to jump in the pool. They spend some time drinking and swimming, until Sarah accidentally wishes for Aaron to be happy with her sister. The invocation startles Sarah, and she quickly backpedals on her wish, wishing unhappiness for Aaron and Lucy. Aaron is confused. He couldn't understand what Sarah was talking about. How can someone be unlucky in that manner? Sarah explains to him that when she was a child, her ability to wish was stolen. Now, her wishes come true, but for someone else, while awful things happen to her. That is why she is wishing for him and Lucy to be unhappy, so that the opposite would come true. Aaron is astounded. He asks her if that is why she has been backing away from the Fashion Fest. Sarah scoffs, telling him that it is a serious curse. Aaron gets out of the water. He picks up his phone and gets busy with it. Sarah asks who he was calling. Aaron tells her he is calling Arturo Calavita. They spend some tender, nostalgic moments together, eating street food, dancing in the street, and making new memories that go hand in hand with the old ones. When they reach home, there is a surprise awaiting Sarah. Roberto has flown down to visit her. The next morning, Sarah wakes up dehydrated and hungover in her makeshift bed. Lucy is by her side instantly, a bottle of Gatorade and makeup remover in hand. Sarah asks her if Roberto is actually here, or if she has been dreaming about it last night. Lucy assures her that Roberto is in fact here, and that everything is under control. Lucy gets Sarah cleaned and ready for breakfast. It was a cheerful morning for everyone except Sarah. She finally gets to greet her boyfriend, who sweetly does not bring last night up. As they dive into breakfast, Lucy tells Roberto that she and Aaron are going to get married, here in Merida. Roberto jokes that, if they planned on getting married, there in the living room, they are going to need more chairs. Hilarious. Lucy brightly explains that by here, she meant in Merida City, at a gorgeous ranch, and that her wedding dress is being designed by Sarah. Roberto is excited for Sarah and congratulates her from across the table. At the store, Sarah breaks the news to Sackney. They have to hurry to make her sister's wedding outfit, which has a million accessories, and also design a collection for Fashion Fest. Sarah and Sackney get to work straight away. They print, draft, and dye in the manner that Sarah explained. In the wee hours of the morning, as Sarah spreads the fabric over a clothing line, for the sunlight to fall partially over it, she hears Aaron serenading Lucy in the backyard. She tells them she and Roberto will be sleeping in her bedroom tonight, so those two will be sleeping in her makeshift bed. They will have to close the back door when they get in. The next morning, Sarah learns that Lucy did not spend the night in the back room. She and Aaron had gone to a hotel for the night. Sarah rushes to check if the door was closed. It wasn't. The sunlight is flooding in, and the prints are ruined. She knew it was stupid to accept the fashion fest. That night, Sarah sits dejected as she drowns her sorrow in a bottle of vodka. Aaron finds her there, at the back of the house. He makes her laugh. The next morning, Lucy takes Sarah for a relaxing spa day, as an apology. While the two bury the hatchet about the cyanotype debacle, Lucy confides in Sarah that she thinks Aaron does not want to marry her. All of the songs that he writes are about some girl that isn't her, but his first great love. Lucy divulges her fear that maybe nobody wants to spend their entire life with her, which Sarah thinks is ridiculous. Lucy is a diamond, inside and out. Anyone would be lucky to spend their life with her. Later that night, when everyone in the house was fast asleep, Sarah receives a balcony serenade from Aaron, who was singing for her, standing underneath her window. He asks her to come out with him and bring along her fabric and dyes. Aaron takes her down to the river where they hunt for flamingo feathers for her print. While they row along in the boat, Sarah asks if he has found what he came to Merida for. Aaron confides that he has found the covert studio he has been looking for. He wants to record songs that won't be public, but personal. They finally find a flock of flamingos. On their way back home, Aaron confides that the engagement with Lucy has happened so fast. He liked her a lot, but marriage seemed like too much. In the shower that morning, Roberto breaks the news to Sarah that he is moving to Merida. An overwhelmed Sarah asks everyone at the breakfast table to jump in and lend a hand with the fashion fest and the wedding. The fashion fest is a roaring success. Arturo is ecstatic to see Sarah's designs, so much so that he appoints her in charge of the whole thing. The designs are received with great applause and appreciation by the guests present. Sarah wakes up the next morning with a hangover, a boxed present, some water, and food from Aaron. She unboxes the gift to find a copy of Aaron's first album, dedicated to Sarah. She is not going to let this one slide. She finds Aaron upside down, practicing yoga. She confronts him about it. Aaron's response was simply that he had taken care of her, because she was his friend. Roberto finds Sarah and Aaron together, and in a moment of desperation, Sarah asks Roberto to marry her. Designing Lucy's wedding dress did not turn out so challenging, after all. As they stand in Sarah's design room for the first fitting, Lucy absolutely loves it. Sackney appoints herself for the mission, to dissuade Roberto from moving to Merida. Her plan results in Roberto getting hospitalized with the virus. When Sarah comes to visit Roberto there, he asks her if this was her plan, all along. With a hint of dejection and remorse, Sarah tells Roberto about her curse, and how contagious it tends to be. Roberto tells Sarah that he is not afraid of any bad luck coming his way. What he is afraid of is Sarah not getting where she wants to be, while she's with him. And what she wants is Aaron. Roberto and Sarah amicably agree to call off their engagement. They promise to continue to be friends. The ranch that Lucy had picked is breathtaking. The estate is a unique mixture of various design traditions, stemming from Spanish colonial architecture, and its more recent version, the Spanish colonial revival. As the wedding planner shows the family around the place, Aaron corners Sarah to talk, but is interrupted by a surprise bachelor's party from his friends. Lucy is perplexed to watch Sarah get rowdy, while partying with Aaron and his friends. The wedding day is finally here. Lucy puts the dress on. It is a cyanotype, with abstract ivory detail. The asymmetric dress hugs her body in the most flattering manner. Lucy offers Sarah to come work with her as her authentic fashion designer in Milan. Sarah tells Lucy to put the matter away for another time, as they have more pressing issues at hand. Their mom was not ready for the ceremony yet, and their dad wasn't answering his phone. They need to track them down. As the sisters barge into their mother's room, they find her half naked in bed with their father. When Lucy asks what made them turn back to one another, Mama tells her that when it's true love, it's explosive and joyful, like fireworks. The words strike a chord with Lucy. She finds herself knocking on Aaron's door. When Aaron answers, she blurts out a monologue about how she actually hates his music, and stories from around the world. She does not even feel any explosion of joy when she sees him. Aaron solemnly agrees that he too cannot stand her influencer world and constant Instagram stories. They both agree that they never really knew or loved each other. They do not want to spend the rest of their lives together, so they decide to call the wedding off. Lucy is sure she can fix this pit that they are in. Lucy calls Sarah and asks her to meet her at a secluded spot. When Sarah gets there, Lucy reveals her plan to call the wedding off. She tells Sarah that she has watched how perfect Aaron and Sarah are together. She has also figured out that Aaron's songs have been about Sarah all this time. Upon making the decision, she had felt a burden lifted off her back. She had, quite obviously, fallen for the idea of Aaron, rather than the reality of him. Lucy had always dreamed of having Sarah's luck. Unbelievable. Sarah scoffed at even the thought. Why would Lucy want Sarah's luck, when she was the one who stole it from her years ago? Lucy was so shocked, she couldn't utter a word. So then, Sarah walks her through the memory of the birthday party, and how she wished to steal all of Sarah's wishes as revenge. Lucy had been merely 5 then. She didn't remember any of it. All she remembers is always wanting Sarah to find happiness. It wasn't Lucy's wish that brought bad karma. It was Sarah's inability to let go of the grudges. She has been bringing bad luck to her doorstep all along. Lucy then urges Sarah to go find Aaron. Be brave one more time. Sarah finds Aaron as he was leaving the estate. She lunges towards him, and they finally kiss. Days later, Lucy takes Sarah whale watching. It was what Sarah had originally wished for at that fateful birthday party. The sisters' bond is stronger now than ever before.